Timcast IRL will be live in Miami with Patrick Bet David, Donald Trump Jr., Matt Gaetz, and Luke Rudkowski. Join us there. Get your tickets by clicking the link in the description below or by going to timcast.com. From CBS News, Ray Epps, protester at center of January 6th far-right conspiracy, charged over Capitol riot. And you see, most people are only going to see the headline. And the goal of this charge, in my opinion, is just, it's obfuscation. It's, the average person's going to be like, what, that guy, he was criminally charged. Yeah, but come on. Here's the story. Ray Epps, a former Marine and Trump supporter who became the center of the January 6th conspiracy theory, has been charged in connection with the insurrection. I like to call it that. According to court documents filed by the Department of Justice, Epps is charged with disorderly or disruptive conduct on restricted grounds. He's expected to appear in court Wednesday for a plea agreement. So let's just point something out. The FBI said Ray Epps has never been an FBI source or an FBI employee. I always take issue with very specific answers that nobody asked, right? Because the appropriate answer to the question of, was Ray Epps involved with law enforcement, is Ray Epps has zero involvement or interaction with anyone in law enforcement. We don't know this guy. Let's just make it unequivocally clear. This guy has nothing to do with us or any other agency that we know of. Instead, it's like, he wasn't a source or an employee. Okay, was he an informant? Was he a contractor? Well, come on. Did he become an informant later on? I mean, look, I don't want to be too conspiratorial just because they didn't give a good enough statement or a clear enough statement. But the issue I see here is you've got people like Owen Schroyer, who's being sentenced he was sentenced to 60 days in prison. And the federal government cited his speech before, during, and after. His speech after the fact was cause for him to go to prison. But Ray Epps, on the day of, telling people to go to the Capitol, and the night before saying to go into the Capitol, doesn't matter at all in his sentencing. To be there at the front lines, tearing down the barricades. He wasn't the one who physically did it, but the people in front of him did. He whispered in the guy's ear, he tears it down, then they rush in, and they're like, one charge. Meanwhile, there's a journalist named Stephen Horn, I believe his name is, 4 charges, and he was just convicted and will now be sentenced to prison. So something doesn't add up. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying this guy is a fed or anything like that. I'm just saying something is weird about this story.
Do they come from, are there different prosecutors going after these people? Like, because these are all spread out over time, right? These convictions or these... I
mean, it's been 2.5 years. Yeah. So there are different prosecutors and different judges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So could that play a role in here? Is there something to do with leniency or such in sentencing for these things?
I really doubt it. I mean, look, you've got people who walked on the grass confused who were charged and sentenced to a month or two. You've got I'm forgetting his name. John Strand, I think his name was. Am I getting his name wrong? Hopefully I'm not getting his name wrong.
Not sure.
3 years convicted. Yeah. He was there as a security guard working for Dr. Simone Gold. He wasn't there in any political capacity. He was just walking around as a security guard. And they gave him 3 years. Yet they're going to give this guy one charge?
Wait, didn't Tario get like 20
He wasn't even there.
Yeah, and he got like a bunch of years in prison?
Yeah.
This is what they do, though. I'm going to use the word a lot probably tonight, but hypocrisy is a rule of the day for these people. And you got so much stuff on this guy. Yeah. So much stuff on him. The video footage is undeniable. And yet, one charge, he's got a slap on the wrist, nothing will happen to him. It drives me crazy what's going on in our country right now.
I would have thought they would have arrested him and then been like, we're charging him, we're giving him 20 years, and then like steal him out of prison in the night and send him to an island to live forever. Like, didn't they used to do that? They'd put people in witness protection or something if they used them for a purpose. But maybe they just feel like with internet, you can't hide people anymore. You can't track it. So let's just blatantly use this guy to incite. This is a guess, but if he's on the floor inciting and he didn't get the book thrown at him, there's something going on, and it just smells like some sort of red flag. Like maybe
the conspiracy is, because here's my issue with conspiracy theories. Everybody just assumes they know what the outcome is, but you don't. So the first thing is people are like, okay, something doesn't make sense here. And then they say, okay, now I know for sure what the answer is. No. Here's a conspiracy theory for you. The feds intentionally undercharged the guy to make him the focal point of conspiracy theories so that people aren't actually looking at who may have really been there. There's a video from one journalist showing a guy breaking out a window, and then as soon as the guy realizes he's being filmed, immediately stops and then starts pushing someone else, accusing the other guy of breaking the window. Like, you see, that one's more interesting to me. Ray Epps is on camera saying stupid things. If he was actually an informant or Fed or some kind of plant or provocateur, he would not be on camera doing these things. And then you have other people who are on camera doing things who get scared the moment they realize they're being filmed and then stop.
Yeah.
That is more.
Those are the ones you got to watch.
But I mean, look, if someone is there either as a provocateur or an intentional rioter or maybe even insurrectionist, they're going to be, if they're smashing out a window, they're going to stop and then act like they weren't doing anything wrong because they don't want to get in trouble, right? It doesn't matter if you're a Fed or not. I just think it's weird that Ray Epps would just stand there while people are filming him outright
And
saying these
constantly
things.
be. But what about the woman that got shot? That just sort of disappeared too. She was doing nothing.
Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah, and she gets shot and killed. And the video footage of her, she wasn't doing anything. And nothing happened to the gentleman that shot her.
That's right. I think he had a promotion.
I think he probably did.
Yeah.
The argument
It's like the studio chiefs in Universal. They fail upwardly. But go ahead.
that she was
Always.
climbing over a barricade, so threatening their space.
She wasn't climbing over a barricade. She was looking through a window.
Yeah, she climbed up
She stood
towards
on
a hole.
She stood on the like framing of the window and then looked through the window and then
It was like
they put a bullet in her
a
neck.
broken window, so there's like a hole. They probably thought she was climbing through. I mean, I
She
don't want to
couldn't
make
climb through it.
excuses. but-
The window was not that big. Her face could barely be seen through it, and they put a bullet in her neck. There's no reason. The cop was panicked and freaked out. It's dangerous to have people like that holding weapons, but these are the things that happen.
I didn't hear any defund the police calls after that one, surprisingly.
Dude, the Ray Epps thing is
No.
the most nuts. I mean, just beyond nuts thing. This guy's screaming for people to go to the Capitol to get rowdy. I don't know all the quotes, but some of the stuff you mentioned
He
earlier.
texted his nephew saying he orchestrated it.
What in the hell?
He's like, yep. And he even says in one of the videos, he's like, he doesn't want to say it because he'll get arrested, but he's going to say it anyway. It's like, okay. And then it took him 2.5 years to get one misdemeanor charge. You have people, you had that lady. I love referencing this. The feds stormed into her house in Alaska because she looked like a different lady. So there was a woman who was in the Capitol. They were like, hey, we think this is the person. So they break into this other lady's house.
Yeah.
But the guy who's on camera inciting everybody to do it, it's like, nah, no worries here, man.
How long ago was he charged? Like initially charged?
Ray Epps?
Like, yeah,
Today.
It was just today, right? So is it possible that he's going to end up informing?
I think the potential, the reality here may be he's been an informant the whole time.
The whole time.
And maybe not for the FBI or something like that. It could be Capitol Police. Yeah. And so the FBI says he's never been a source or an employee. What does source mean? Does source include informant? It's an opinion statement, so it could or could not. Their quote's meaningless to me. But it could have been the Capitol Police. I wonder if it's possible because he used to be an oath keeper. If, originally he was on the website for like people of interest they were looking for and they took him off. I wonder if they found him right away. They found him right away. He's on camera everywhere saying this. They instantly were like, we got a clear picture of his face. Then they went to him and said, you are going to inform and provide testimony on all these people that bolster our cases, or you're going to go to prison forever. And he said, I'll do whatever you say.
Okay, I didn't know he was an oath keeper before. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But what about all these guys? I mean, a little segue, but still on the same track of what happened on January 6th. All these Antifa guys, video footage of them changing into clothes, Trump clothes. I saw a lot of that footage. I don't know if that's real or not.
I've seen the footage too, but I don't know what it is. And these are the challenges, right? You've got the pipe bomb guy everybody found.
Yeah.
You've got the video of changing their clothes and putting on, like they're taking off hoodies and putting on like Trump's looking clothes.
And there's no motivation for prosecutors to want to do anything about it because that's not the way that the political winds are blowing right now.
The political winds don't blow that way in general.
Ever.
Yeah.
No.
Well, so there you go. I don't know, man. This is only resulting in more people believing that there's a conspiracy theory here, but I wonder if you're going to actually believe that the intelligence agencies are capable of doing anything, you have to operate under the assumption that they're going to be a little bit smarter. It's not like a random guy just being like, I know, let's have our friend smash a window and then we can blame other people for it. And there's going to be a little bit more to it than that. In which case, the Ray Epps stuff is a very, very hefty distraction. Everybody's pointing the finger at this guy, and he's just, as far as we can see, a doofy Trump supporter who for some reason is not getting prosecuted. And so maybe in his mind, he's like, why is everyone coming after me? And if there really was an intelligence operation, you've got guys, like you mentioned, changing their clothes, and everyone's just like, Ray Epps, Ray Epps, Ray Epps.
Well, there's a lot of FBI guys apparently, right?
Yeah, it's widely reported, especially with the Proud Boys, like dozens. I don't know what the exact number is, but FBI informants up the wazoo with the Proud Boys.
I love how they blame Trump. I mean, you saw him speaking. He's on camera saying, go peacefully if you're going to go down there. He didn't say anything about rioting. And he still gets blamed for it.
Doesn't matter because they just clip the audio
they go after everything for him. I mean, he's had 7 straight years of being attacked. It's pretty incredible to have that much hate centered on you for that long. It's incredible.
Yeah, dark days, man.
Yeah.
Because you look at this stuff going on. There's this guy, Stephen Horn, journalist, objectively a journalist. And I mean, like, he's not I'm not saying objective journalist. I'm saying objectively, when you look at the facts, like, this is a journalist. And I guess they got him because when he went in the Capitol filming. And he chanted USA, USA, USA. Oh, now he's demonstrating. So they got him.
They got him on 4 charges. Entering or remaining in the restricted area, disorderly, disruptive conduct in a restricted area, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building.
So to be fair, he was in the Capitol building. And so you might say those 2 charges related to being inside, Ray Epps is not going to get. But Ray Epps still only got 1 charge. He didn't even get charged with entering a restricted area, despite the fact he incited everyone to go do it in the first place.
It feels like that's the more serious charge, right? Would be the incitement of others to do so, because they seem to use that as their kind of barometer for where to charge, right? It's inciting an insurrection. So if he's actually saying that he orchestrated this stuff,
they can't charge him. You know why? Because Trump's the one in their minds, or Trump's the one they need to have legally on the books as having orchestrated it.
That's what I'm saying. Because like when they were talking about it initially, like you said, when they're ignoring what his actual words were, and they're saying that he incited, that's the language they kept using, right? He was inciting an insurrection.
This could be the reason why they don't charge him, and they're holding off on charging him, is because they know the evidence would show he not only admitted to orchestrating it in a text between a family member, but he's on camera inciting people, and they need Trump to have been the guy so they can get him off the ballot.
Yeah. They'll just end up in the same cell together. Him and Trump and this guy will just end up having to serve their terms together.
I don't know what they're going to do with Trump. You can't put him in prison, but they're not going to let him run. Like, they're not going to let him win. I don't know.
Do you think he ends up on the ballot?
Trump? Yeah. Well, what does that mean? What state? Where?
Do
which
you
districts?
think do you think he'll be removed
Trump
from
will
enough?
be removed from. I don't know about enough. Doesn't matter. Trump. I believe it is a high probability Trump is removed from the ballot somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, look at Arizona. It would not surprise me if come October of next year, Trump's name is just not on the ballot in Arizona, because we know they print with the Hobbs versus Lake election. The wrong ballot sizes were printed on the wrong paper, and it jammed up the machines. Yeah. So if they can do that and then go whoopsie daisy, and then nothing happens, there's no reconciliation, there's no accountability at all. Then, they'll take Trump's name off somewhere and just go, it was a mistake.
Have you had Carrie in your show?
Oh, yeah, several times.
She's awesome.
She's great.
She's great.
And she does have a bunch of victories right now, too. So I don't want to act like nothing's happening.
Yeah.
They recently ruled that the signature verification in Arizona was being done illegally.
Unbelievably obvious. And then once we talked about this earlier. I was driving in here with your transportation guy. It was awesome. And we talked about the craziness of this mail-in voting, and neither side is fighting to get rid of it. I don't see anybody on the right getting rid of it.
Get rid of it. The Democrats are fighting for it.
The Democrats, I know. Yeah. But no, they want to keep it.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.